This chapter was absolute madness, and there's a lot of talk going about this chapter. People liked it, some didn't, and we will be discussing that. I will break everything down, including things that you might have missed, or I will give you explanations on what is actually going on, because a lot of the information we've got, some people are still confused on that. Now, if you want a response to your comments in the comment section down below, I'm most active in the comments an hour after I upload, so be sure to drop your comments below. And also, I am working on a Naruto and Boruto based game. I will actually include some footage in this video, and I will link my progress in the description for you guys to check out. So let's break everything down in a number style. Number one, Amado knows everything about Isshiki. This is basically what allowed him to create his plan. Now, how does he know all this stuff about Isshiki is what a lot of people have been asking. Now, let's backtrack and count all the clues that we have been given. He knows Isshiki's backstory. He was definitely not around when Kaguya Otsutsuki, Isshiki, and all the other Otsutsukis descended on the earth to scout and take the chakra fruit. So the fact that he knows this entire story means that Isshiki actually told him everything that happened. Secondly is that he knows the names of Isshiki's abilities, right? So if that is the case, then he must have learnt it from Isshiki, because no one would know the names of Isshiki's abilities. And lastly, remember, he is the scientist of Kara, and out of all the members of Kara, he has been working the closest with Isshiki in order for this guy to implant his karma on a multitude of people at once. So therefore, out of all the people who would know a lot about Isshiki, he would know the most. So it kind of makes sense there. Number two is Isshiki's ability has finally been explained. So apparently, according to Amado, he can shrink anything, including himself, with the exception of living beings. So he can shrink himself and anything that's not alive. Now, a lot of people, have had questions about that. If he can only shrink the living being that is himself and no other, then how is he shrinking Jigen? Because apparently he's inside Jigen's body, right? So here's my answer to that, because I thought about this. The reason why he is able to shrink Jigen is because he is not shrinking Jigen. Remember, he is controlling Jigen, and he implanted the karma on Jigen's body, meaning that Jigen can use his abilities. So he controls Jigen's body, and he uses Jigen's body to activate the karma seal, which has his ability in it. So then Jigen is basically shrinking himself by using the karma seal's ability, which is basically Isshiki's ability, and that's basically it. That is the explanation on how he is able to shrink Jigen. Number three, the final explanation on the karma seal, and it was a bit complicated the way it was explained, but I'm going to simplify everything for you guys, okay? So when a karma seal is implanted, it extracts all the Otsutsuki's genetic information into your body. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can fully resurrect. The extraction only allows them to slowly gain control over your body, so they eventually gain full control when the extraction is complete, right? When all the genetic information is extracted, they then have the option to use the karma seal and activate it in order for them to revive themselves. So look at it like pressing the final, button to go ahead with the revival, or activating the jutsu to actually revive yourself after you've prepared, which is what the extraction is. The extraction is preparing, and then they finally have to activate the revival in order to complete the revival. So after an Otsutsuki revives themselves, the karma seal on others disappears to prevent the vessels that have fully extracted themselves from ever reviving. So that basically prevents the Otsutsuki from having multiple copies of itself. Number four is Jigen Dies. One messed up thing that Amado said is the fact that dead bodies can be used to revive an Otsutsuki as long as they have the karma implanted on them and it has been fully extracted. This is actually a better revival jutsu than the Edo Tensei, where revival requires a being to be alive in order to do so. Now, what happened is that Jigen dies in this chapter, and the reason why he dies is because he got burnt to a crisp by Kashinkoji's jutsu, but Isshiki still used Jigen to revive himself. So the fire that Isshiki was trapped in Jigen's body basically burned Jigen's body, right? So Amado said that Jigen is basically clinically dead. That means that his heart is not beating, he's just a dead corpse that Isshiki is controlling. And even though he's dead, as long as the karma seal is on him, it's on the dead body, it can still be used to revive an Otsutsuki. That is the explanation there. A lot of people were quite confused, but I hope this explanation works. Now, the downside is this. Jigen's body cannot handle Isshiki's full power, and that is why he didn't use that body to revive himself. However, because Kawaki wasn't even fully extracted yet, he had no other vessels, so he was forced to use Jigen in order to revive himself before Jigen's body was completely turned into ash. So he was basically backed into a corner. He had no way to revive himself except Jigen's body, and he basically took what he had. So now Isshiki Otsutsuki has been revived, but he is not able to use his full power. So number 5, Isshiki has been revived, and we finally get a face reveal, but not for the reasons that you actually thought his face was hidden for. So Isshiki has now been revived, and he is more powerful than before. He shrunk all the eternal flames in an instant, whereas when he was in Jigen's body, he could barely manage to do so because Jigen's body could not handle his power. So he has been revived into his original body and became even more powerful than before, but he cannot go full power, and his only other vessel is gone. The reason why Isshiki's face was hidden was not because they wanted to hide his face and, show it as a surprise, but it is because he has a new Doujutsu, and that leads me to another video for another day about Otsutsukis and their Doujutsu. So we have only seen one of his abilities, right? Now that he has his original body and Doujutsu back, we will get to see more of what his Doujutsu does. It also proves that out of the two, Kaguya was the one who had the Rinnegan all along, which kind of contradicts the information that we get in the data book. So number 6 is, finally, the big reveal is Kashinkoji is Jiraiya, but not the Jiraiya that we know. Now, Naruto seems to be concerned with Kashinkoji because somehow Naruto is connected to Jiraiya. I don't know if this is Ninshu, because Ninshu connects people's chakras, right? And Naruto has never connected his chakra with Kashinkoji. So maybe because he's connected to Jiraiya and Kashinkoji is a clone of Jiraiya, therefore any clones of Jiraiya will automatically have some kind of link with Naruto. But if that is the case, then he should be able to use Ninshu to talk to Kashinkoji from a distance, because all the tailed beasts that he has, he basically uses Ninshu in order to talk to them from a distance. All he needs to do is connect his chakra with them, or have a fragment of the chakra in order to do so, right? So, yeah, it turns out that Kashinkoji is actually a clone of Jiraiya. Now, we don't know whether he has Jiraiya's memories or not. However, it seems to be the case because he did say that he is fated to be in Konoha, right? So maybe he's talking about the fact that the previous, Jiraiya, the real one, was a Konoha ninja, or maybe he's talking about the fact that he actually has memories of Jiraiya. If that is the case, then that would be very exciting, because then we would actually get a closure for Naruto, because he never really got to say goodbye to his teacher. And I hope that Kashinkoji actually survives this fight, because if he just gets revealed as a clone of Jiraiya and dies right there, then what would be the whole point of introducing this character? Every character should be introduced for a particular reason or a particular purpose. Now, one of his purposes is to get rid of, Isshiki Otsutsuki, but at the same time, there must be another purpose for him, because you won't just introduce a clone of Jiraiya who has made a huge impact in the Naruto universe and just kill him off right there and there without him fulfilling another purpose, which should be related to Naruto. So yeah, let me answer your questions now. First one is, do you think Sasuke knows how to defeat Jigen? Because during Jigen vs Naruto and Sasuke said something about it's to Naruto. Trust me, if Sasuke knew how to defeat Jigen, he would not be standing there listening to what Amado has to say. In fact, he would head his ass there and actually defeat Jigen/Isshiki Otsutsuki. Next question is, Hagoromo is the only one worthy to wield the power of the Rinnegan. Don't ask me. I'm gonna at you by saying that Pain is the only person who has used the Rinnegan effectively. Like, all the abilities that came with the Rinnegan, that just automatically come with the Rinnegan, Pain has utilized properly. And in fact, I believe that Pain is the most impactful villain in the Naruto story. With Madara being a close second because of what he actually did and how much of the entire story that Madara actually planned. If you think about it, majority of the Naruto story, you know, the Akatsuki, the Jinchuriki, all of that nonsense was all because of Madara. So yeah, Madara planned most of the story. So Pain is the most impactful to Naruto's character. Madara would be a close second because of the scale of how much what he did affected the entire story. Next one is how Momoshiki used that big Rasengan. Is because he copied the Rasengan. He absorbed the Rasengan from Boruto's Kote and he replicated it with his other arm, and he can change the size to whatever he wants. I'm guessing Kaguya prepared for her betrayal, hence why the manga implied that Isshiki was caught off guard by what she did. Yeah, in order to catch someone off guard, you must have been planning it, right? So we don't know how far she planned into it, but I don't know why she wrote the names of Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki inside the scroll and put it in her castle. I don't know who she wrote it for or who was supposed to receive that information, but I assume with good writing that they can actually notice that she actually did this and she left the information for someone. We don't know who that is, but there are two sides here to these Otsutsukis and they're probably fighting each other. Next question is, we're gonna forget about Kaguya being scared of Momoshiki. She wasn't just scared of Momoshiki, she was scared of Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki because their names were written in the scroll. And in the manga, when they popped up in the, Chunin exam, Sasuke basically said these are the people whose names were written in the scroll. So she was scared of those three. And possibly, Ishiki's too, because she never really killed Isshiki. She just split the guy in two and he lost the fight and ran away. So there was that to fear as well. And he said, we're going to forget about Momoshiki saying he could take down Kaguya. Yeah, he did say he could take down Kaguya, except here's the problem. He came struggling against Darui and Gaara, which doesn't make sense at all. Someone who's been traveling for, probably millennia, collecting chakra fruit, just comes to fold against Kage, who are not as strong as Kaguya Suzuki. Kaguya would not be struggling against Gaara and Darui, guaranteed. But Momoshiki, who has absorbed Kinshiki though, that is another debate, right? So, are we going to forget about Momoshiki being literally stated to be stronger than Kaguya in the novel? Yeah, they did say that Momoshiki was stronger than Kaguya. However, based on his performance, it said otherwise, alright? So, we're going to forget how Naruto can use the Tail Beast technique without summoning them, meaning he has mastered the 6-pass mode. Yeah, Naruto can do that. He has fragments of their, chakra in order for him to use that technique. But in order for him to actually use the 6-pass mode where he has the Godama behind him, he needs a certain level of chakra, and he cannot get that chakra without asking those tail beasts for permission. I remember in the episode where he asked for all the tail beasts to gather so he can speak to all of them. Some of them defied, saying that they are not interested. So therefore, he cannot just access that mode whenever he wants. He actually needs permission from those tail beasts. So yeah, that's basically it. Those are all the comments that I'm going to be answering for this video. If you have more comments, then leave them below in this review. And remember, the first hour is when I'm most active in the comment section down below, and that is when I'm most likely to reply. And if you are lucky, some of your comments will be inserted in the next video. That has been my overall breakdown for this chapter. Now, click on the left for my explanation on why Otsutsukis are not able to die, and click on the right for my explanation on how mana works in the universe of Black Clover. With that being said, I have nothing more to say. Bye.